Can you guess what model year my first mountain bike was?
1980.
No, Bruce. Damn it. It was for sure like mid 90s, 95, 96. Definitely not full suspension.
It was a hardtail.
Yours is probably like 2012.
It's 2013.
But your first mountain bike was probably also a hardtail, wasn't it?
It was the Salsa El Mariachi.
20 years different. Still hardtails. It was a formative experience, Bruce. Like, you can't like really learn how to mountain bike when you're insulated from all of the trail feedback you get, you know, when you've got
God,
like
this
cocoon of suspension around you,
you know,
and tubeless tires.
Let me tell.
I'm Spencer.
I'm Bruce.
This is Shop Talk. The golden path.
This thing again, everyone told me, start on a hardtail, and I listened, I did it.
And you're doing well. You're doing very well these days.
You know, here's what I think. Just start on the bike that you're gonna end up with in a year anyway. Start on a full suspension.
Well, no, I mean, that's just wrong.
Yeah. It's better. It's better. Like, you'll be happier, you'll be safer, more comfortable.
It's not about being safe or happy or comfortable. It's about learning the craft. And that's why the hardtail, that's the only way. That's the only way to do it. Let's just get the basics out of the way first, Bruce, before we start to argue.
Okay.
Hardtail.
There's no suspension. It is a rigid rear end. Thus, it's pretty hard.
Most hard, exactly. It sometimes will have a suspension fork, sometimes it won't. Either way, it's a hardtail frame. Now, a full suspension bike, it does always have front suspension combined with rear suspension. That's a shock, a linkage, some pivots, all sorts of other complicated junk that you don't really need if you're a beginner mountain biker. Bruce, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why beginner riders should learn to mountain bike on a hardtail.
All right, lay it on me.
Reason number 1, you develop an eye for the trail surface. You can figure out what's gonna be slippery, what's gonna be grippy, what's gonna be bumpy, what's gonna be smooth. For that matter, you learn to ride lighter over the bumpier stuff. That's reason number 2. Use your arms and legs as suspension. Now, I know you're really into building those muscles and all, but you could have the same bulk and tone by riding a hardtail every day.
That's the secret.
We're here to pump you up.
Reason number 4, bike is lighter because there's less going on. It makes it easier for beginner riders to maneuver. Nothing wrong with that. And finally, the 5th reason, no maintenance. More time riding, less time wrenching, makes you a better rider. And in fact, Bruce, this bomb track KLAL is available for sale on theproscloset.com right now. Check it out today.
Visit theproscloset.com.
Hey, that's pretty cool, but you know, I wouldn't buy this. I got another bike I would buy instead.
How dare you?
Yeah, let me show you.
All right.
Okay, Spencer, let me give you my 5 reasons why riders should start on a full suspension bike. All right, there's 2 big ones at the start here. Full suspension bikes, they give you more confidence, and 2, more comfort. Now, those 2 things are important because they help you ride stuff that maybe new riders might not be so keen on riding without a full suspension bike. You know what that means? It means you get to progress faster. It means you get to try things that maybe your hardtail isn't cut out for. And that's what we want to do as mountain bikers. We want to try all the trails, right?
I don't like trying new things.
All right. Well, let's go to number 3. Modern full suspension bikes, they're pretty good now. You don't make huge compromises with weight, with pedaling efficiency. And then here's number 4, all those skills you're talking about, riding light, reading the trail. Come on, you could do that on a full suspension too. Definitely. It's not about the tool, it's about the rider.
Isn't it the carpenter?
The
tool, it's the craftsman?
You don't learn to drive a wagon before you learn to drive a car, Spencer. What's the point? Here's the final point, and I think this is a big, big point for new riders. You start on a full suspension, well, you don't need to upgrade to a full suspension in a year. You avoid all that upgrade-itis, that full suspension jealousy, and hey, maybe you find out full suspension isn't for you. That's fine, but you won't know unless you start there.
Well, what about this bike? Is this like a proper beginner's bike here?
Well, good news for beginners. You can find this Orbea Occam at theproscloset.com.
Proscloset.com.
Check it out, folks. To be fair, modern full suspension bikes are very consistently good.
They are.
It has not always been that way though, and I think that's why there's definitely a bit of reticence when it comes to learning to ride on a full suspension bike. So let's head over to the museum and see what they used to ride in the vintage days of mountain biking, and let's say that full suspension bikes used to be quite primitive.
Yep, interesting. Well, show me what you got.
All right, let's check it out.
You know, Spencer, looking at this thing, I think I started mountain biking in the right era.
Damn it, Bruce, you just don't understand. The 90s, man. The golden era for mountain biking. This is Missy Giove's race bike from 1993, and it is proven in the biggest races of the world, biggest downhill races in the world. She went to 3rd place in the World Cup overall and finished 3rd at World Championships in MTB, France.
MTB.
It's nice. This bike is so custom and one-off. It's really amazing. It's got all the race-worn patina. They took the suspension fork and totally redid the internals. RockShox Judy on one side, Manitou 3 on the other. You just don't see that sort of customization these days. But the real thing that everybody's gonna ask about is that rear suspension, right? It's just completely one-off. You've got a custom Rees racing shock, or maybe it's Rissy, I'm not sure.
Someone in the comments will correct us.
It's got tons of machined one-off pieces to make it all work together nicely. Single pivot suspension design is quite primitive by today's standards, but didn't slow Missy down.
No, I mean, Mike Wilk, he restored this bike and he said it is extremely, extremely flexy.
I believe it because you've got one pivot down here connecting the chainstays to the front triangle. And then other than that, you just have the shock mount. So this whole area here is kind of a free-for-all.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they tried to brace it here, but who knows if that does anything.
I think what this bike shows you is that back in the day, in the 90s, it really just wasn't feasible for beginner mountain bikers to get their hands on full suspension bikes because so much one-off handmade stuff had to go into these things. They're expensive, hard to come by, and they kind of didn't work great either, let's be honest.
Definitely, if you are buying a new mountain bike now, you are really lucky because you are spoiled for choice. Hardtail, full suspension, they're all great.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice work on being into mountain biking in the modern era.
Yeah. Hey, maybe let us know. Do you think beginners should start on hardtails or full suspensions?
You're wrong, Bruce, but thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.
We'll see you next time. Let's agree to disagree.
Okay, Bruce, it's my show. Whatever.